Thank you so much. Like Dr. Zulu said, you can Google if you want to find more, because I might not have history in the liberation struggle or anything. But yeah, so you can find out. But thank you so much. I think as a young person, actually believe that SSTC is an opportunity for us as young people. And I think there have been so many discussions around how do we strengthen meaningful youth engagement in the ICPD agenda. And what SSTC brings is an opportunity for us to engage and share our knowledge and our experiences. And I'm happy that UNFPA is talking about these platforms, what works. We need actually more opportunities to share experiences, to share best practices, to share knowledge, and to also make sure that we learn more about the needs of young people, but also more importantly, how to make sure that we create those opportunities to know what has been successful and what do we replicate, and what do we do to make sure that whatever that we bring to young people is also contextual, because most of the times some of the programs, some of the interventions and initiatives that are brought to our communities sometimes do not speak to our specific and contextual needs. It also brings an opportunity for capacity building in terms of providing training, providing technical assistance, and providing mentorship to youth-led organizations, but also not only to youth-led organizations, but to also policy makers and those that want to hold the hands of young people. SSTC also bring an opportunity for policy alignment. One of the things that we continue to struggle with is the issue of access to sexual and reproductive health rights. We also struggle with issues to do with non-aligned laws and policies that continue to hinder access to services and information for young people, especially in Eastern and Southern Africa, when we look at laws around the age of consent. Then also SSTC brings an opportunity for the triangular cooperation. So in addition to South-South cooperation, triangular cooperation then gives an opportunity for developed countries and developing countries and international organizations to bring extra expertise, to bring resources, and also to bring innovative approaches to address youth related challenges, also as part of complementing the South-South cooperation. But what do we need to do more to make sure that, especially I'm here because I'm a young person. It's also unfortunate that when you look in the room, there are very few young people that are here. But I hope that I did not say young at heart. I know that, we become young at heart to also get comfortable. But we just want to also to make sure that young people are not just only in the space to fill in the gaps. Young people need a seat on the table, and not only a seat on the table. Young people also need to be able to lean on the table. most of the time these chairs are put, but young people have not been very comfortable that if you want to slouch, you can slouch at the table and there is no problem. You don't feel intimidated and you don't feel less of who you are. And I've always said that in terms of young people, most of the time, if you are not on the table, you are on the menu. Yeah, so we need to do more in terms of political engagement to make sure that we get stakeholders and we get our governments to make sure that they prioritize the needs of young people, but also build political will to build and support evidence-based campaigns, and also that our arguments are not according to our values and what we think is right for young people, but we also use the data that is there to make sure that we tailor-made interventions. There's also need to increase multi-stakeholder partnerships to make sure that government, civil society, and youth-led organization and development agencies and other relevant stakeholders collaborate in terms of decision-making processes and joint ownership and co-ownership of our programs with young people. We find ourselves in an era where there is a lot of power imbalances when we engage. We have even when we talk about the resources that we need to support meaningful youth engagement, you see that those resources do not come with the terms that are favorable for young people and the terms that are favorable for youth-led organizations. Today, you still see, youth positions in organizations that needs 15 years experience. And you then wonder how a young person would have had 15 years of experiences. That's when you find those that are young at heart in positions where young people should be able to be. We also need to make sure that we actively involve young people in the design, implementation, and monitoring of youth-focused programs so that we ensure that the voices of young people are heard and their perspectives are integrated into decision-making processes. Why? Because if you want to run the last mile and if you want to win, we should make sure that young people also feel like they own these processes. They have a sense of ownership, they are empowered, and also there is sustainable commitment from young people themselves and other stakeholders. So when we implement this, we create more opportunities for youth. We foster participation of and establishment of and strengthening of young people and youth-led organizations so that they may be able to advocate for their rights, so that they may be able to engage meaningfully as equal partners in decision-making processes. But that comes from putting a lot of resources around training on leadership, around advocacy, around negotiation, around policy analysis, and also around them being able to communicate their messages in their own ways that they understand. Right now, we are talking about artificial intelligence and how it can bring an opportunity to make sure that we engage young people, to make sure that we share information in ways that young people can understand. I'm happy because when I started doing advocacy work as young people, I was into theater for development. I was a poet. And that's how I started making sure that I communicate, my advocacy messages so it would look like a drama. But when we get to that community where a traditional leader is abusing young people, we would put our own traditional leader in a drama, and it doesn't have to be an attack, but the message, would get home. So those are some of the ways that we need to make sure that we mentor young people and recognize the value of meaningful youth engagement. And lastly, I think we need also to strongly monitor and evaluate meaningful youth participation, because most of the time where we see ourselves, in spaces where we see ourselves in, we don't get time to say, we get time to say, oh, of course they were young people, but we don't get to monitor and evaluate our participation. So we need to monitor and evaluate the extent at which quality of youth participation in decision-making processes. And we assess the inclusiveness, the effectiveness, and impact of youth engagement initiatives, but also use the findings to make sure that we continue to identify areas for improvement and make necessary adjustment to ensure continuous and meaningful youth participation. So as we do that, we also make sure that youth-led movements and youth-led organizations are also well resourced, and that our funding mechanisms, we co-create them with young people, so that at the end of the day, young people do not only become volunteers in communities, but they also become, people that resonate with our programs, that can run, that we can trust to run with the programs, and also implement this issue of saying that young people do not have the capacity should end. We should be able to build their capacities when there is no capacity. Our funding mechanisms should be able to also create opportunities for capacity strengthening for young people, so that they resonate within our program, and mainly what we are talking about today, the ICPD program. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.